what a difference a week makes. This time last week we were talking about reaching a league final, and judging by some of the comments already on our comment line, Kerry senior footballers are destined for relegation following a third loss in 5 days for Jack O'Connor's men who went down to Tyrone yesterday. Well, two men who were totally on the wrong side of the score prediction because they both said this was a banker, John Kennedy and Liam Brosnan. Liam, where did it go wrong?
Where did it go wrong? Donal is right, yeah. Look, I suppose whatever about it, I suppose the green and gold always brings the best out of these boys above from Tyrone, and I hope that we're not after kicking off their season because look, they outplayed us really, you know, and the physicality, everything across the board was top marks by them, and I think look, they were ably held to me by the referee, Mr. McAnally, and I have a bit of history with him through the Sigerson Cup with the last couple of years, so I wouldn't be one of his biggest fans anyway, but I didn't think he did us any favours.
Yeah. Well, is it unfair to say it came down to that though?
Well,
it was a contributing factor in a sense.
You can pick out a lot of stuff where Kerry were doing wrong and what we're doing right, but there was a lot of calls that, they were 50-50, and like at the end of the day the game was tight, that if you got the one or two extra frees that we should have got, or one or two extra frees that they got that they shouldn't have got, it could have made a change, alright, Donal, but no, I think, look, I thought he refed it completely different in the first half than he did in the second half. Tyrone got away with a lot more in the second half, but look, we don't want to be sitting here blaming the referee for losing the game.
That's Ambrose's job anyway.
That's Ambrose's job, but he didn't help, and I thought he was poor now yesterday. I honestly thought he was poor.
John Kennedy, referee aside, we certainly contributed a lot ourselves to our own downfall, I thought.
We did, Donal. I think, when you look back in it and analyse it, I suppose, the goal by Shane Ryan, it was a freak thing, but I think it gave him a lifeline, even though it was early in the game.
Yeah.
And then we were 3 points up, and they were saying in commentary that Tyrone were waiting for the half-time whistle, and then McCurry got a free, Cormac Quinn kicked a great score, and Matty Donnelly, who had a fierce game for them, he kicked a great score, so they went in level at half-time. That was a huge boost going in. They got the look of the draw, maybe they got the lucky breaks, but they took them, and it was nip and tuck. But again, in the last 6 or 7 minutes, when Tyrone needed to win the game, they won it. That was disappointing from our point of view. I thought physically, there were some challenges. We came off second best. We were a bit naive. I thought that our defence, we were taking the ball up into the attacking positions, and when we lost possession, we were found with 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 at the back.
We're back to the old Kerry there again, aren't we?
Something we didn't want, really. Yeah. The more bodies we have back, the better especially against a team like Tyrone, and create space above for David Clifford, because there was one stage David Clifford was marked by 4 players. Where were the other 3 Kerry forwards then? They had to be loose. So they had their homework done, but every team will have it done now. Paddy Clifford was nullified again. David Clifford was frustrated and pulled and dragged. We can blame the ref. And Jack was, you could see it after, he was disappointed again. But look, when things are going well and when you're winning, you will get those breaks. But the day you want them, you won't. So you have to make your own look. And there was certainly a few I thought there was a very big call on Stephen Acumbar. He was fouled in my book going through around the 50 or 55th minute. We were level. A free out was given, a free in it is over the bar. You're a point up. They're very fine margins.
Look at the game yesterday. I mean, the first half, it really looked like Kerry were the better team. Kerry were on the ball. They wanted to play more of the football. They went ahead. Yes, Shane Ryan, it didn't work out. The ball went in it. But I mean, in the scale of things, he made 2 fantastic saves to nullify that. So you're going to tick that box and say, look, that just happened. That's one thing. We move on. But the points that we conceded, Liam, just before half time, we gave them 3 points, bang, bang, bang. I mean, that I think cost us. It
did, yeah. And Stephen was probably the one he came out. There were silly mistakes that we have been doing in the last few games. Silly fouls, coming out too strong and pushing a fellow over. And you're only giving the referee a chance to give a free. But yeah, I thought, look, we were once the goal went in, it gave Tyrone fierce heart, and we the heads dropped a small bit. And the one thing I found yesterday is that we I don't know what's happening inside in training, but we are not kicking the ball down. And it is football, and Ambrose have said this several times, you have to put the foot in it, and we look like players now that don't want to kick the ball. And what
is that something that you look at players and say they're low in confidence because they don't want to do it, or is it just a tactic that we're just holding it?
I think it's a tactic. Like, how many times have we seen Jack Barry kick a ball? Don't know, you go through the players. Stephen Ockenbar, how many times did he kick the ball? Tyg Morley. And I mean by kicking the ball is when we've turned the team over, that we need, like we were doing last year, that we need to get the ball into David before this 3 and 4. And you can see David's getting frustrated, and any forward would. If we were in there ourselves, we'd be getting frustrated. But we don't seem to. Our first option when we get the ball, we're turning backwards or we're going lateral. And it's funny when you look at Shane Ryan, the goal. What was his first thing when he got the goal? When he got the ball, he turned backwards. So it's something that it summed us up. No, we're not driving forward, and what teams are doing, and John said it they're copped onto their marking Paddy Clifford. I saw it above Cohen with Mayo. They're doing a thing, and you'd see it in basketball. They're going boxing one. So the player that's marking Paddy is not even looking at the ball, and Tyrone did it as well yesterday. So they're taking our kicker away from us, so we can't kick the ball. David Moran was a huge loss because he was the one midfielder who could get the ball around the 45, our own 45 or 50, and hit the full foul line with a kick. We don't have the players to do it at the moment. We probably have the players, whether they're told not to do it, because I'd rather, instead of having a good stat that we're 100% in keeping the ball, kicking 10 balls to David Clifford, he'll win 5 of them. And what will he do with the 5 of them? I'd rather have that stat instead of hand passing the ball over and holding it for 20 or 30 times.
Liam, taking on, guys, it was refreshing to see Donal Sullivan yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, he's a young fella coming in with no experience at that level. He took on the responsibility. He dropped the shoulder, he led off the ball to Paul Murphy for the goal. He got a point himself. But we're going in, we're turning, we're giving it back, and we're the shot selection, we're looking for David or Shawnee Shea. And like you said there, Paddy Clifford is one of our best kick passers. He's taken out of the equation. The ball going in, Tony Brosnan gave a ball to David Clifford in the first half yesterday. You could see David pointing where he wanted it, because Tony is not in that game. He hasn't been in that position giving that kind of ball off. He's usually inside.
If we look at our defence as well yesterday, like Graham Sullivan probably spent 80% of the game in our forward line. No, and Tom Sullivan was up there, Paul Murphy was up there, and what happened, that was suiting Tyrone down to the ground, because when they turned us over, then Jason Foley was on a one-on-one with a very good footballer, and the first option when Tyrone turned us over, they kicked. Whereas I'd be telling, last year we weren't sacrificing Tyg Morley going forward. We weren't Graham wasn't, our cornerbacks weren't driving forward like we're doing this year. Defensively, I don't know, is it just the way we're doing a lot of training at the moment and we're not tactically getting into it? But I think we're a completely different team to what we were this time last year.
Yeah, we've been talking about a lot of heavy training. We've been talking about, I suppose, the delay back from the holiday. We've been talking about, it's February, don't worry lads, it's not a big panic. We're talking about March now, and it's still kind of maybe not a big panic. Where, John, do we start the panic?
I think, Donal, it's important to stay in Division 1. That's crucial. Now, up to yesterday, another 2 points might have done. The results yesterday, I think, showed we might need the 2 games. We might need to win both. And I think we'll beat Roscommon. I said we'll beat Tyrone. I think we'll beat Roscommon. I think they're after shooting their bolt, really. They seem to be sliding a small bit.
Do you know, in fairness to Roscommon, I looked at the result there yesterday for some bit, and they were trailing, but they showed great heart to get back into that game. Conor Cox scoring a goal. I mean, they showed the team that
I think we're lucky we have them at home.
I think so, yeah.
Because up there will be different, but I would expect us to pick up them 2 points here in Tralee. But as for going to Galway, you'll be hoping to see what Galway team will go out.
Will the Galway thing be more a repeat of the All-Ireland, and people in the media will build it up as an All-Ireland? Shane Walsh back again, John Kennedy's friend there. I mean, obviously he's going to score 4 points when he starts listening to this programme. But I mean, the truth about it is that game now is a very, very big game.
It's a huge game, and it'll be tough up there. They seem to have got a few new players, Galway. You know, they've lads to come back, they have injuries, but they're still up there. They're second in the table. Possibly a chance of getting to league final, which would be a further progress for Pádraig Joyce with a young squad. But I think that from a Kerry point of view, you know, Division 1, we said it here before, look, whether it's football or hurling, the team that wins the All-Ireland, it's always difficult coming back. The league campaign can be indifferent, it can be up and down, you know, and particularly Division 1 in the National League, it's so competitive. We saw Tyrone yesterday, they're 2 points going into the game. If they win their remaining 2 games, they could possibly be in contention to get into the final. That's how close it is. But from Kerry's point of view, I think that they have another 2 weeks to go. I think there will be further improvement, and it's important that we get our best players playing well, and we need a few more of them back. And I think maybe Gavin White, if he's ready coming in, his runs from the half back line, we missed those, but Paddy Clifford is crucial. We need him in the game, and certainly like his delivery has been top class.
Are we better off with Paddy at number 11?
I think so. I think that Paddy will. I think we need him at number 11. He seems to be not producing the top draws quality when he's not at 11.
Yeah.
And maybe let him drift and play his own game from 11. And Shawnee Shea, which whether it's Adrian Spillane or Darragh Moynihan, they're covering in a 2.5 forward line. But I think Paddy, he dictates the play from centre forward. He's picking the breaks in the middle, and his deliveries are super.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can I throw something across at you? Barry Dan. Years and years ago, I remember an old football friend of mine telling me that the only day people will know how good you are is the day you're not there. Yesterday Barry Dan wasn't there. It wasn't lost, was it?
Because that game would have suited Barry Dan, because if you watch Barry Dan in the last few games that he's been playing with Kerry, he's a man that throws himself around. You know, he doesn't fear the tattle or the competition, as we call it. And yesterday's game would have suited him, so he was a loss. But if you said that to me 3 or 4 weeks ago, that Barry Dan was going to be a loss, I'd be scratching my head and saying, yeah. But yes, he was a loss yesterday. So
by his absence, we've seen how much he contributes. Adrian Spillane,
huge loss. Yeah, huge loss. And I think the couple of games that he has been missing, he has been a loss. You know, because he's a warrior around the middle of the field, and that's what we need, is a couple of warriors.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we certainly have a couple of comments coming in. God, I don't want to go into a ref fest, but we'll say a few. Ref was awful, some disgraceful decisions even against Kerry. One ref and the pitch with 30 players just isn't working, lads. We need a second ref. Kerry played far too much hand passing and recycling football. Tyrone were a better team. Again, the ref, what did David have to do to win a free? Lads, if you can't score when the game is there to be won, there's no point blaming the ref. I suppose that's the other side of the coin too. I mean, we did get chances, particularly midway through the second half. We were a point off the lead at one stage. We had three scoring chances, and we didn't convert in either.
We didn't score for the last 20 minutes. No. That's not Kerry like.
It is too simple, Donal, to say the ref cost us.
Yeah,
he contributed, of course. We know that. But like we had when you see David Clifford and Shawnee Shea missing gilt-edged chances by their own standard, it just shows you the pressure they were under. We did miss them. Yeah. You see what we gave away, the chances we missed outside of the referee. But I thought, like, the cards he handed out yesterday, you know, if it was a championship game, like, you know, you can't be handing out cards for innocuous enough challenges, in fairness. And the only thing about him was he was consistent, because he stayed doing it, like.
I suppose he was the letter of the law. I suppose the poor man was doing, I suppose, in fairness, following what he was told to do. Now, Kerry need Dermot Murphy, maybe they might need Dermot Murphy too, but they need Dermot O'Connor back at midfield, as they were very poor there on Sunday. Lads, what is the story with the backwards hand pass? It is killing us.
It is, and I think
a lot of I suppose it's a bit like we're retaining possession, but we're heading back towards our goal with it, as opposed to going forward. That's what you're saying. You know, we should kick fear and hopefully fair. More back to the ref. We'll leave that one alone. Kerry still can't handle Tyrone after 20 years of this type of stuff. Surely the Kerry team knew what was in store for them.
Yeah, that's true. It
hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed. No, and it's not getting any easier.
Yeah. Boys against men once again, lads. It's easy to blame Jack O'Connor, but I didn't see him on the field on Sunday. I suppose it's fair enough. We will get it right when it matters at the business end, fairly positive. This is one that'll hit you, John. When you go over 40 minutes scoring 1-2, the goal from your wing back and another point from a free in front of goals, you don't deserve much out of a game. Go back to the wing back bit. Paul Murphy is one of these players who has stood up in all the games so far. He's contributing with his odd few points. He's nailing down, I'd imagine, a position for himself.
Yeah, Paul is doing well, but you know, I'd rather see Paul doing well inside wing back than to be the same with Tom Sullivan. Maybe this is only a personal viewpoint. We have forwards above. If they get space, you know, the odd sally up the field is no problem. Paul came off the shoulder, Donal Sullivan stuck the goal well. He's kicked some great points. But I think that the physicality Tyrone, we got sucked into their game, which is disappointing. There's no one blaming Jack O'Connor, in fairness. We didn't blame him. You know, he has put out the team They're in a process at the moment. We're in a bit of a sticky situation. I think we'll come out of it and we'll stay up.
And he's given a lot of fellas chances.
And the big point is, you look at Stephen O'Cumbar, you look at Donal O'Sullivan, Pa Warren, you know, the guys we mentioned in Adrian Spillane and Diarmid O'Connor and Barry Dan, huge loss.
Gavin White.
But we're giving these guys, we're building the panel. You know, if we stay in Division 1 of the National League, we head in for the championship, it'll be a big plus, because he has seen these fellas, like any guy that came out yesterday with a thumbs up from Oma, he's certainly ready to go into a championship game. But you look at the Tyrone team, they're seasoned. Hampsey at full-back, Peter Hart, Munro. You look at the midfield, they're all-star midfielders, Brian Kennedy and Fitzpatrick, and Matty Donnelly.
Are we a bit dismissive of Tyrone? I mean, they won the All-Ireland 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think we are, yeah.
The car didn't work for them last year. I mean, they don't become a bad team. So technically, they are All Ireland contenders.
And I mean, they've lost. It's been well documented. There was talk about unrest in the camp and a lot of players walking away and retiring and all that. But look, he has built a nice squad. Doher and what's his
Logan,
yeah. But like, they brought Matty Donnelly back yesterday. This was a crucial game for Tyrone. This was a 4-pointer.
Yeah.
They had to win. If they lost, they were in relegation trouble.
And you saw when they scored, what it meant to them.
Yes.
You know, and I don't think it was because they were getting the couple of points for the National League. It was beating Kerry.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that will give them a good.
It matters. You're beating Kerry fair enough, but you're beating the All Ireland champions.
We're beating the All Ireland champions.
We've got a bigger target on our back now as the current All Ireland champions. Lads, Kerry need to play direct football. Stop this passing across the field. It's hard to watch this game. It's only March, lads. Plenty lessons to be learned. So let's learn them and move on. Stay positive, lads. Was that it? Oh yeah, the next fella comes around and says, was I watching a game of rugby when a player surrounded by 6 or 7 punched, knocked to the ground? This is not Gaelic football. Come on, the powers that be have to get off their ivory towers and clean up our game. Yeah, well, I suppose, you know, that's what the referee's there for. If he sees a punch, it's a card, and that's it. It was a terrible game to watch. We're just going around in circles and we're playing rubbish. Again, Kerry loads of possession. Look great going forward at stages, but for some mad reason seem to be afraid to kick a point from 25 or 30 yards. Why? Lots of opportunities again today, but prefer to play sideways and backwards. Guy's not taking the shot, Liam. I mean, it's a Kerry thing usually, wasn't it? You know, you got space, it opened up, you had 6 forwards, everybody could score. We're not seeming to do it as regular anyway.
No, we're just relying on Shawnee and David, our 2 main kickers, and look, approved it above a Mayo as well. No, and we have a half forward line. I think the way football has gone and the way we're looking at it, we want workers. We don't want scorers. Like, I always thought half forwards were there to work and score. And like there was once or twice yesterday, even towards the end, you know, Dara Moynihan got the ball. I can still picture it, and it opened in front of him, but he didn't want to go. You know, that kind of way. He just didn't want, because they knew that. I suppose it was in their heads the minute they went, there was 3 or 4 Tyrone fellas around them. But like John said, we got to get into the habit then where there are 3 or 4 Kerry flares.
Yeah. Can I read a stat to you? I mean, there's loads of stats, and people who say the Kerry forwards are, God, they can't score and they can't do this and they can't do that. John Kennedy knows this. Oh no, actually you know it, Liam. Of the 32 teams, where are they ranked?
We're 17th overall.
For scoring? For
scoring, yeah.
Okay.
We're 756.
Can I throw something back at you? Right? Out of that stat, where are we in Division 1 out of that?
We are Mayo or Dolly team ahead of us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So does that tell you that we are scoring enough for that division to think that we're 17? Of course, now again, like, I mean, Cork are flying off the traps. They're 13 goals and 71 points. I mean, Westmeath, Leitrim, Cavan, they're all scoring, they're all flying. They're all teams kind of looking for promotion, I suppose, out of their divisions. Derry themselves even 768. Mayo are the leading scorers in Division 1 92. Kerry next with 77. There's a huge gap there in between the top scoring team scoring 92.
But if we look at the top teams, Donal, it's the defensive structures they're all working on.
Yeah. Who's the 3rd highest scoring team in Division 1?
In Division 1?
No, there you go, 2 of you.
Would be Roscommon.
Oh. Good guess. Monaghan. Where are Monaghan in the league? John Kennedy has that.
Second from the bottom.
They're second from the bottom.
4 points,
so you're second from the bottom and you're the 3rd highest scoring team in the league. Doesn't make much sense. It tells you how tight it actually is.
It tells you how poor defence is too. If we're scoring high or conceding high.
Tyrone are the 4th highest scorers in the league in Division 1. Roscommon then, Armagh then, Galway then, and Donegal down at the bottom. We're heading to Galway. We are the 2nd highest scorers scoring. Galway are second last. That surely is 2 points versus it.
But in the defensive side, then that's that. We're 15th overall.
Yes.
No, so that's for a Division 1 team, All Ireland champions, we should be more than 15th. No, so
we're leaking a lot.
We've leaked as a 367 altogether, I think. And so defensively, I think defensively is the thing. We've no structure. Last year we had a structure. At the moment, we're all bombing up the field and we're leaving big open gaps like we used to long ago. And fellas are running down the middle. Tyg Morley's been pulled out of the middle. Jason Foley's been isolated inside with no cover, and we're being put under pressure.
Well, stay with us, lads, because we'll take a break now and we'll come back and we have loads more comments to get through. We're going to talk a bit about Camogie, John. Have you been to a Camogie match?
Yeah, it was a few, Donal.
Yeah.
We'll have to bring him.
I met a man who went to his first week there this weekend, and we'll talk to him about it after this break. Hi Donal, the league is so tight that every score is very important. Could easily get relegated or qualify for the final score difference. And then I hope you have recovered from the game at Anfield. Charles. Well, Charles, I'm sitting here now drinking my 7-Up there that Ivan brought into me there a while ago. I think I'll get over it all right, Charles, don't worry. I think we're still 7 points clear. You know, it's like I said, every score counts. Donal, we were not playing well with hunger. Style is gone as well. That's Marguerite and Fires, and thanks for calling tonight, Marguerite. The Kerry had chances to kick points from 30 or 40 yards yesterday, but the lads wouldn't take it on. They went lateral and went around the halfway line. Why is that? That's from Mossy. Thank you for listening to Mossy. Lisbol caller, I can't watch football at the moment. There's too much hand passing and turning back, too much defensive football, defending in numbers and breaking, rubbish to watch, and something will need to be done. So the running and turning around and going backwards again. It's a good enough point, John. I mean, the game that we possibly knew, and even the game that you probably played, and even the game that, you know, Liam watched there a good bit. I don't know if you ever played at the festival. It is changing in front of our eyes.
There's no doubt. And look, everything has to evolve, Donal, in fairness, but I think there's a balance. You know, I mean, anyone that saw Derry and Dublin Saturday night, I mean, the first half was it was terrible stuff to watch. And it's a spectator sport, look, and it's about the more scores you have. And while it's not a challenge game, and it has to be competitive, but there is a balance. And I mean, it's terrible when a player gets a ball, like Liam said, and the space in front, and he turns back and gives it back. Worse again, I think, if a player is 25 or 30 yards out within the scoring zone,
and you're a forward,
he won't take the responsibility. He'll turn and give it back. I think it's something will have to be done about it, whether there's a rule brought in or what. But it's natural forwards, whether they were good kickers or not, they went for it. And you had a cut, like.
It reminds me, I played years ago with Clorglen Rugby, and John Healy put me out in doing, and he says, you will catch your debt of cold before you'll get a pass out there. Anyway, he says, so if you're still there at half time, we'll talk to you. The backward pass, lads, and the lateral football, it's not only killing Kerry, but it's killing Gaelic football as we know it. And that's from Dan. Thanks very much. Kerry gambled by not starting training early to give players a rest. It's a gamble that's looking shaky at the moment. Mayo showed us how to beat Tyrone. Fast ball over a small full back line. Well, Tyrone got in our faces. It's time for Kerry to beef up, says Morris, and listening very attentively to his usual. We'll be lost at this remove without you, so big thanks. We all thought the rules weren't applied fairly, so glad you highlighted that. 2 comments: 1, a goalie should never turn his back on his own goal, and 2, 6 black cards to Kerry. Seamus in Waterford, and thanks very much, Seamus, for tuning in down there in Waterford, a good listener as well. We addressed that, and John, of course, with all the cards, you know, there was a lot of cards given out yesterday. Now, something that there was not too many cards given out on over the weekend. Myself and Liam Brosnan went to a Camogie match. Well, I went to my second or third one, maybe. I can't lie, we're getting better at them. Liam, were you impressed with your first Camogie match?
I was, and Owen O'Shea and of course Elaine, the secretary, gave me the big invite, and of course, being inside.
Did you buy your ticket?
What?
Did you buy a ticket?
I was down the list. That's the VIP list for the Camogies. But I went in. But I tell you, I'll be going to more of them, because it was a very entertaining game. These girls, you know, the commitment that they put in, and you see like Patrice Diggins, who's worth the entry fee alone.
Absolutely
outstanding. Yeah. But she's ably assisted by all the girls around the field. Like, they give it everything. You know, so I was highly impressed, and it's something I will be going to more often. I'll be bringing my young ones as well.
Just talk about Patrice Diggins before we move on to Pat Ryan very quickly. She scored some unbelievable frees.
She had pucks of the ball that if it was in the men's sport, they'd be raving about it, you know. I think there was one inside her own half at one stage, I think in the second half, and she put it over the bar at her ease.
At her ease.
Yeah.
And she's a good girl to take a belt.
Oh, there was a hurley broke in front of me across her, and I was saying there's no way this girl is going to get up again, and she was dolly down for 30 seconds and up she went, and I was above a Mount Hawk then Friday night, and that was a very entertaining soccer match as well.
Was there a hurley broke there too?
There was no hurley broke up there, but but it was Ivan and the boys are doing a great job. So I had a fierce weekend of sport of firsts for me.
John Kent, yeah, you know, we get no free passes anywhere. Now, after the game, I caught up with Kerry Camogie manager Pat Ryan, and he knew a bit about Camogie. Pat, congratulations. Winning seems to be a habit here in Killarney.
Yeah, it is. Delighted to get in here again. It was great. Look, maybe not our most fluent performance, but a win's a win. It was always going to be that type of game when you play an Ulster team, you know. So, look, happy with the win.
Yeah. Again, I suppose Terrace, probably stood out a good bit today, contributed a lot of scores, fantastic player, good from frees as well. But all round, it was a good team performance.
Yeah, we started a good few new players today, and they battled very hard and went to the bench as well. Down a few players through injury and missing a few players, but nothing can be done about that. But look, positive. We're where we want to be.
Yeah. 2 wins, a draw, and heading to Derry next week. Is that game now a vital game, or is it a game that it's a free chance?
Well, I suppose it depends what happened with Meath and Westmeath today. I don't know, I didn't hear the score, but it is still, you know, win. We could be in the final. Lose, you might still have a chance, but look, we'll be going there trying to win it, you know.
And your final home game is against Laois. I hear it's going to be in Stack Park in Tralee. Another big outing.
Yeah, delighted with that now, delighted. So, you know, hopefully that could be the one that really gets us to the final. So delighted with Kerry County Board now giving the Camogie this opportunity to get into Fitzgerald and Austin Stacks. Delighted with it.
And finally, all the players coming off the field walking. Patrice took a bit of a heavy tackle, but looks in good form.
She looks in good form, yeah. We're down a few players today, Jackie and Amy and Rachel and that, but look, everyone else just stood up to the mark. Like, you know, I was worried about this game all week. The girls mightn't have been worried about it, but I know from being above an Antrim that Cavan Camogie's developing big time, you know.
Okay, Pat, congratulations. Very best.
Thanks a million. Thanks.
There you go, Pat Ryan doing a great job with Kerry Camogie. 2 wins and a draw. They head to Derry next week, which is a long journey for them, and they have a home game in Austin Stack Park. 3 home games this year for the Kerry ladies and the Camogie, or the Kerry Camogie senior ladies, I suppose. 2 in Fitzgerald Stadium and 1 in Austin Stack Park. That's fairly good.
I'm going to bring John to the next one now with me.
Are you going anywhere the weekend?
This weekend?
Yes.
You caught me in the spot now. I don't know what's on the weekend. I'll probably go to Derry.
Pam McCarthy joins us on the line.
I'm going to Carlo Saturday. I am. No, you got me. I am. I'm on the road to Carlo Saturday.
There you go. Pam McCarthy joins us on the line, of course, because next Saturday at 3 p.m. I'm telling Liam there that St Patrick's Secondary School in Castle Island, they're going to head into action in the All-Ireland Post-Primary Schools Dr. Eamon O'Sullivan Cup final. It's on in Cavan, of course. Carlow, Nate March Cullen Park there in Carlow, and they're playing a team from Meath, and I'm delighted now to have Pat McCarthy on the line. Good evening, Pat. It's been an eventful few weeks, I'd say, for you, having won the semi-final. I presume there's a fantastic atmosphere around the school and even around the hinterland of Castle Island.
Yeah, hi Donal, hi lads. Absolutely. It's unknown territory really for our school. It's the first time we won a Munster competition, and obviously the first time we've qualified for an All-Ireland competition. So yeah, fierce excitement and busy preparing for the final.
Mm-hmm. And how do you prepare for that final now, Pa? I presume, look, it's only a few days out. The training has been done at this stage. I suppose maybe the preparation is getting buses and getting people up and down to Carlow. What's it like on a daily basis in the school?
Yeah, look, it's busy. I won't tell you lies. It is busy. We've a quick turnaround. We've only a 10-day turnaround really from the semi-final, and that semi-final went extra time. Mm-hmm. So this was the first thing was about getting the boys recovered. And then we had to get them through minor county leagues over the weekend, and then we had to continue with an under 16.5 Munster quarter final today as well. So it's been busy, yeah. But look, it's all good. These are great problems to have, because it means that you're progressing if you're having these problems.
Mm-hmm. And of course, that semi-final was a fantastic semi-final, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, it was. You know, watching back the game, you'd really see what a good game it was. There was some great talent on show from both sides. There was great football played, and obviously we needed to pull everything we could out of the fire at the end, and look, thankfully I think you need luck to win any competition, and to progress to the final we definitely needed that luck.
And of course you're out there kind of based in Castleisland, but I mean a lot of great supporting clubs out around, and I see on social media every fella putting up about their own 4 or 5 players in their own club colours. What's the makeup of the team? What clubs are you relying on?
I suppose we've got all the Castleisland district where all clubs are represented, so we've got a good few lads from Castleisland, Desmonds and Currow. I think there's 9 on each of those. There's 6 guys from Cordal, 6 guys from Knocknagoshel, and then you've 4 from Scart. You've 1 from Ballymac and 1 from Brosnan. So as you said, the clubs have been doing great work, we're getting great support from all the clubs, and all the lads are coming into our school with a great basis of skill and fitness, and all we're trying to do then is build on that and kind of gel it all together. So it's been fantastic.
Look, I won't ask you about the team or the players or who to watch out for, because obviously it's a complete panel performance, and everyone is as vital as the next one. But heading into the game the next day, are you all fit and ready to go? Nobody being left behind injured? We're down 2 or 3 guys that have been long-term injuries. We've Raymond O'Neill, Ger Costello, Lee Normoyle and Larry Nolan. But on the flip side, we're getting Redmond O'Connor is coming back to us, and Killian Reedy is coming back after a long-term injury as well. So look, other than that, we've a few bumps and bruises, but overall we're not too bad. Is there more or less pressure being on the sideline in a school team compared to a club team?
I don't know. I suppose there's always pressure, but with this group we know and we trust the work that we've done, and we know we've a lot of work done, and they're great lads. Look, they showed that the last in the semi-final. They were at one stage 11 points down with maybe 20 minutes to go in the second half, and look, they showed great maturity, and just they kept the scoreboard ticking. They didn't panic, and they trusted what they had done. They trusted the work they had done. They trusted the battle that we came through in the Munster final against Gael Closh. And they knew that, look, if we just stuck in there and got a few scores, that we would start coming back into it. And that's the way they've been all year. They've put their head down, they've worked really, really hard. And to be fair, they deserve everything that they're getting now at the moment.
Well, hopefully next Saturday evening around 5 o'clock we'll be congratulating you as All-Ireland champions. I'm sure you never know, if you win you might bring a cup into us, because Liam Brosnan hasn't seen an All-Ireland cup in a while. Did you go to St. Patrick's, Liam?
I went to St. Patrick's, Donal, yeah. First of all, I want to wish Pa and all the boys the best of luck, because they have done tremendous work down through the years. You could see last year with the win of the Russell Cup really kind of catapulted the school into the public eye, and these boys have been doing a lot. I know he said on about the managers and the clubs as well, which doing fantastic work, but when they go down and they're being trained by the likes of Pa and the guys that are with him, they're just getting that extra bit of as expertise, and it's proven it. And because look, they're in an All-Ireland final. I think it's the first time ever that they're in a football out that school, as I say, our school are in an All-Ireland final, and I'm delighted for them, because there's been a lot of work done with all through John McNally all the ways up. Dennis Donovan was the principal, Mr. Long is there now, and you have the likes of Pa, who was involved with Kerry Minors down through the years. So the young fellas are in great hands, and hopefully come 5 o'clock on Saturday.
No, stop. I'm not going to ask you to predict it. Pa, his predictions don't be good.
I said lately. Hopefully. I'm not going to predict it.
No. We won't ask you for any predictions. Okay, we're not going to put that on the way to the kids. Pa, listen, the very best of luck. Thanks for taking the call this evening, and look, we're really thrilled. I mean, it's great to get to an All-Ireland final, and again for a school, I suppose, that I won't say didn't have the tradition of football, but not having the tradition of football, getting up to this level. And I mean that must the work from the clubs, from the players, and every generation, Pa, I suppose that there's a golden generation that kind of filter through a school of all schools that happened even behind in Closh and Skillig and the whole lot, and it's great to get, I suppose, the best you can get out of them. And hopefully, as I said, by 5 o'clock next Saturday, all going well, we'll have a very good story to tell, and wish the players the very best of luck. I presume you're carrying a good few buses up, are you?
We are, yeah, that's the plan anyway. Yeah, we'll get a good few up. We'll need all the support. We know we're up against a really, really exceptional side in Nobber, and look, we'll need every bit of support we can get. So yeah, hopefully everyone will stay getting behind us as they have all year. And we've got great support from everyone in the school, management, teachers, parents, the other students, great support from around the town. And look, just hopefully we can get that again on Saturday, and and hopefully we'll have a good story to tell next week.
Thanks very much. Fair play to you, Pat. Thanks very much for taking the call this evening. That, of course, was Pat McCarthy with St. Patrick's Secondary School there in Castleline. They're going in search of an All-Ireland post-primary. It's an amazing story. Now, speaking of good supporters, I need to mention a couple of supporters there. The programme, of course, the Tyrone programme, at the start of their notes, they welcomed the Kerry Supporters Club, who brought up 2 bustle loads. And, of course, they mentioned my good buddy just around the corner here, Tommy Dowling, who goes to all the games, of course, as a good supporter. And, of course, there's lots of them there. DJ Downey was there with his number 1 jacket on again. And I'm sure John Cregan was there with him as well.
I don't know, did I give Ambrose a good welcome, did I?
Probably not. Well, they certainly won't give it to him the next time. Poor old Tim. Come here, something that did get good support as well was the Cornmarket National Awards. They were presented in the Mount Errigal Hotel in Letterkenny there on Friday. It was the first staging, of course, of this big event for Come the Munskull since 2020, of course, and all counties and schools. But we had a couple of Kerry winners, and congratulations to Skull, Owen Bosch, Tilly Spole. They won Top National Award for their digital programme on Corcun Kin on Gaelga Agus Culture, while Ard First National School, they finished third for their project on the promotion of Gaelic Games in the large school category, and congratulations of course to both of them. And of course Kerry weren't winning there either, because they also won the Pet Trainer Award. That's the Lifetime Service Award for promotion of Gaelic Games and culture, and that went to a Carsavine man. Any ideas? Dear God, you have to brush up on your Carsavine, lads. Come on, I mean, I'm here every night talking about him. I mean, you surely have something to learn by now. Congratulations, Jerry Grogan. Anybody any idea who Jerry Grogan is?
Yeah, he's a guy that
good man.
He's the voice in Croke Park.
Did he call your number off sometime?
Yeah.
He did, yeah. Great GM, and a fantastic honour for him. I didn't actually know that now, Donal, but a fantastic honour. One of the real nice guys as well, you know.
Absolutely.
And you know, he's up there for a long time. He's still a proud Kerry man.
Yeah, absolutely above there.
That's amazing. We have Jackie Lynch as well, who had the head steward up there as well, and she's a big listener too as well, Donal. So
we have great listeners.
And you would have a seat above in Croke Park now with the way we're going.
Hopefully beside Jerry Grogan, get a good seat on the bench there. Lads, we'll wrap up, I suppose, the GA. We have another about 30 or 40 comments. They're all kind of similar in the same vein. Question for each of you to wrap it up. John, what do we need to do the next day differently to get a result against Galway?
Yeah, I think, Donal, a lot of the game yesterday, we played good football. You know, we were in control. We made elementary mistakes. We lapsed before half time again, and I suppose we've said it several times here, is taking on the opportunities and having a go at it. You know, I think we'll be 2 more weeks down the road. Don't think Roscommon will be the same difficult opposition that Tyrone were.
Tenacious, like,
you know,
yeah.
they're not. This was Tyrone needed to win. Kerry coming to home, you know, it was a script written for them. But I think that we'll see an improvement in Kerry. It doesn't need to press the panic buttons yet. I think we'll do enough to stay in Division 1, and we have built a squad, but we'd like to see lads having a go and not to be relying on David and Shawnee in particular. You know, that spread of scores is very important.
Liam, my spies back west say that Paul Gainey is tugging out for Dingle in the West Kerry League games, and Gavin White, of course, tugged out the last day for Dr. Crokes in East Kerry. Do we need some of these extra bodies back?
We do, and like we can sit here and say it's only March, but it was only February last month. No, January. There's so long we can blame the team holiday for. You know, it's time to be getting serious now. And what I'd like to see is, you know, just if we can get a structure into our defence. No, we don't need our six defenders driving up the field. No, and I think that if we can kick the ball, and like John said there, if you're a forward and if you're in a kicking zone, have a go. No, we have to, because David and Shawnee are bringing, and like if you're a forward now and you're playing beside the 2 teams, they're attracting so many players to them. So you are going to get time to get into the right position and pop it over the bar. No, so I think, yeah, look, I think I've faith we'll beat Roscommon. I don't think Roscommon are as tenacious and a defensive structure like Tyrone have. But for us to win in All-Ireland, we're going to have to go back to what we did best last year, and that's kick the ball.
Fair play to you. It is football, I suppose. You have to kick it sometime.
Yeah.
A bit more than we do at the moment. And of course, look, it's a very competitive league at the moment. A big shout out to our friends over the border. Cork, they're going quite well.
Yeah, they're very impressive. You know, their forward division in particular, Sean Potter, he's flying. Great to see him back. He had terrible injuries over the last number of years. Fantastic player, and you know, they're building nicely. They won't get promotion. They'll be Division 2, but you know, they'll be improved.
They'll be coming to the championship in good form.
And of course, we have listeners in Limerick. A great draw.
Yeah, a good draw for them. And look, I suppose it's a hard division that they're in this year, and they know that themselves. But this weekend will show that they have something up there.
Life after Billy Lee.
Billy in Rock Street. So
Rock Street. Good stuff. He's just around the corner from us now, so they're probably training hard, I suppose. Listen, guys, thanks very much. We'll catch up with you again in, I suppose it's a fortnight now at the moment. You enjoy your break. You're going to Carlow. John, I heard you're busy scouting North Kerry for things. We might talk about that some other time. Thanks very much for your contributions this evening. And after the break, we switch codes and we talk Kerry FC.